I didn't like it, but it didn't stop me playing on it, you know. I just played the way I played. I play emotionally.
Ringo Starr, the funny Beatle known for his jokes while John and Paul stole the limelight, is now 84. But behind his cheerful persona, Ringo faced dark struggles, battling alcohol, spiraling into drug-fueled rage, and even a violent confrontation with his wife. His personal life was a roller coaster, with Ringo even walking away from his children. And not once, but twice, he nearly lost his life, all while keeping it hidden. Born Richard Starkey on July 7, 1940, in Liverpool's Tough Dingle district, Ringo's early life was anything but easy. His father left when Ringo was just 3, leaving his mother Elsie to support him through multiple jobs. But when Ringo was 6, he nearly died from appendicitis, developing a deadly infection. After a year of recovery, at 13, he contracted tuberculosis and spent 2 years in a sanatorium. It was there, surrounded by other sick children, that Ringo discovered his love for music. He picked up a percussion instrument, a moment that would spark a lifelong passion for drumming. By 15, Ringo had dropped out of school and entered the workforce, trying various jobs, but finding none that ignited his passion. That changed in 1957 when he formed the Eddie Clayton Skiffle Group, playing a popular style of music that would lead him toward his destiny. Ringo's resourcefulness shone through when he started tapping a thimble on a washboard, finding his rhythm. The Eddie Clayton Skiffle Group gained a strong following with catchy songs like Rock Island Line and Walking Cane, even performing at the iconic Cavern Club, where Ringo made his debut on July 31, 1957. That Christmas, everything changed when Ringo received his first drum kit. A simple set, but enough to elevate the band's sound. With a real drummer, their popularity soared. But as quickly as the skiffle craze rose, it faded. By 1958, rock and roll was dominating, and the group disbanded, leaving Ringo searching for his next break. In November 1959, fate intervened. Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, a top Liverpool rock band, needed a drummer. Ringo seized the opportunity, adopting the name Ringo Starr, a tribute to both his love for rings and country music. Rory even gave him a chance to sing during their shows, helping Ringo build his stage presence. The Hurricanes played across the UK, landing a residency at Butlins Holiday Camp in early 1960, and eventually, they toured to Hamburg, Germany. It was there that Ringo first crossed paths with John, Paul, and George. When the Beatles' drummer Pete Best couldn't make it, Ringo occasionally filled in. On October 15, 1960, Ringo recorded Summertime with John, Paul, George, and Rory's bassist Lou Walters, marking the first time he played with what would later become his bandmates. Even then, Ringo's laid-back style and drumming stood out. By mid-1962, the Beatles needed a drummer whose style matched their evolving sound. Pete Best's drumming no longer fit the band's direction. And on August 15, 1962, John and Paul offered Ringo £25 per week, more than he was making with the Hurricane. Though initially loyal to his band, Ringo knew the Beatles were about to explode, and he made the life-changing decision to join them. 2 days after Ringo joined the Beatles, Pete Best was out, and Ringo made his debut on August 18, 1962, at Hume Hall in Birkenhead. But the transition wasn't easy. Pete's fans were furious, and at the debut show they chanted, "Pete forever! Ringo never!" The hostility intensified at the Cavern Club, where half the audience protested, and George Harrison was even punched in the eye. Later that day, he was hit by a bus. Despite the backlash, the Beatles stood firm. George and Paul had advocated for Ringo due to his solid drumming skills, and John quickly supported the decision. Though Ringo's drumming wasn't flashy, it was steady and reliable, and over time, the protests faded. Fans began to appreciate the warmth and swing Ringo brought to their sound. Even Pete Best later admitted the decision had been justified. With Ringo now in the band, the Beatles had their final lineup. As the band evolved, so did Ringo's contribution. On Rubber Soul, 1965, his rhythms helped anchor the band's folk rock shift, while his percussion on Norwegian Wood blended seamlessly with George Harrison's sitar. Revolver, 1966, showcased Ringo's more experimental side, especially on Tomorrow Never Knows, where his drumming broke away from his simpler past. Ringo's playful side also shone through on Yellow Submarine, where his whimsical drumming and vocals became fan favorite. By the time Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 1967, was released, Ringo had firmly cemented his place in the Beatles' identity. His drumming on With a Little Help from My Friend was simple yet perfect, providing the backbone for his heartfelt vocal performance. Though Ringo didn't sing often, when he did, it was memorable. Yellow Submarine became a classic, crafted specifically for his voice. His performance on With a Little Help from My Friends resonated with listeners, making him more than just a drummer. By the late 1960s, the Beatles' unity began to unravel. Creative differences and personal tensions took their toll. Paul pushed for structured pop, John leaned into experimental music, and George, often overlooked, emerged as a strong songwriter. Tensions worsened with Yoko Ono's presence in the studio, and by 1968, during the White Album sessions, Ringo felt increasingly isolated. He quit the band, frustrated and feeling excluded. While the Beatles struggled without him, Ringo found peace in Sardinia, where he began writing Octopus's Garden for Abbey Road. Back in London, the Beatles realized how much they needed him, sending telegrams and even decorating his drum kit with flowers. Ringo returned after 2 weeks, but tension within the band was rising. When he rejoined on September 4th, George had left a welcome message of flowers on his drum kit, a rare gesture of kindness amid the growing issue. By September 1969, John Lennon decided to leave the Beatles, describing it as a divorce. Though their business manager convinced him to keep it quiet, the band's breakup was inevitable. Ringo, who had always kept the peace, felt lost. The ongoing tension between Lennon and McCartney, combined with business disagreements, made it impossible to maintain harmony. By 1970, the Beatles were officially done, and Ringo ventured into solo work. Instead of rock, he released Sentimental Journey, March 1970, an album of 1940s and 1950s standard, a personal project for his family. Though reviews were mixed, the album made it into the UK Top 10 and reached number 1, 22 in the US. Later that year, he surprised fans again with Beaucoup of Blues, a pure country album recorded in Nashville with top musicians. Though it didn't sell in huge numbers, it showed Ringo was exploring new musical territory. Ringo's real breakthrough came in 1971 with It Don't Come Easy, co-written with George Harrison. The song became a hit, reaching number 4 on the US charts. In 1973, Photograph hit number 1 in both the US and Canada, cementing Ringo as a solo star. That year also saw You're 16, another big hit, along with the album Ringo, which featured contributions from all 3 former Beatles. It became his most successful solo project, reaching number 1, 2 in the US, and producing major hits like Photograph and You're 16. Ringo also ventured into acting, starring in The Magic Christian, 1970, and Caveman, 1981, where he met actress Barbara Bach, whom he married. However, his personal life took a dark turn as his drinking spiraled out of control. He became part of the notorious Hollywood Vampires, a rock star drinking club, and his marriage to Maureen Cox ended in 1975 due to his addictions and infidelities. Ringo's struggles with alcohol and drugs intensified, but he eventually sought help. Sobriety became an ongoing battle, especially during concerts, where he would fight the urge to drink. In 1989, he formed the All-Star Band, featuring legendary musicians like Joe Walsh, Nils Lofgren, and Billy Preston. The band's rotating lineup kept performances fresh, offering audiences a mix of Ringo's hits and classics from other musicians, making each show unique. The All-Star Band not only brought Ringo back into the spotlight, but also revolutionized live performances by having musicians from various bands share the stage as equals. The tours were an instant hit, selling out across Japan, Europe, and the US. In 1998, Ringo made history as the first Beatle to perform in Russia, adding another landmark to his career. As the years passed, the lineup evolved with musicians like Peter Frampton, Jack Bruce, Cream, Sheila E., Steve Lukather, Toto, and Colin Hay, men at work, joining the band. By 2024, the lineup still stayed fresh with new members like Hamish Stewart and Buck Johnson. The concerts became known for their energy, intimacy, and Ringo's peace and love message, making every show feel personal and special. In 2001, Ringo released Ringo Starr and his all-star band, The Anthology, a 3-CD collection capturing live performances from 1989 to 2000. While it didn't achieve commercial success, it served as a tribute to the band's unique collaborations and musical magic. Ringo's drumming, often underrated during his Beatles years, was a key element in shaping rock music. His style was about feel, not complexity, providing exactly what each song needed. His iconic beats on Rain, A Day in the Life, and Come Together have become some of the most memorable in music history. His influence grew over time, with Phil Collins and Dave Grohl praising his contribution to drumming. In 2015, Ringo was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist, a rare honor for a drummer and a testament to his enduring legacy in music. Ringo's life has had its share of controversy. In January 2008, during an appearance on The Jonathan Ross Show, he upset his hometown of Liverpool when he bluntly stated, "No," when asked if he missed anything about the city. This remark came just days after Ringo had helped launch Liverpool's year as the European capital of culture, and it sparked public backlash. The situation worsened when, in April 2008, vandals decapitated Ringo's figure in a Beatles sculpture in Liverpool. His refusal to apologize only deepened the anger towards him. On a more personal level, Ringo faced significant struggles. By the 1970s, fame had taken a toll, with Ringo battling alcoholism and being absent from his children's lives. His first marriage to Maureen Cox ended in 1975, and he later admitted to physically abusing his second wife, Barbara Bach, during his darkest years. This was a turning point for him, leading him and Barbara to seek rehab and commit to sobriety. He worked hard to rebuild relationships with his family. Ringo's struggles also extended to his health. In 1979, after battling peritonitis, he underwent emergency surgery to remove damaged intestines in a life-threatening situation. Just weeks later, he attended Eric Clapton's wedding, a testament to his resilience. Later that year, a fire at his Hollywood home destroyed priceless Beatles memorabilia, prompting him to reevaluate his life and focus on his well-being.